welcome.
Welcome.
Come on in.
Sure.
Welcome to my beautiful home that you helped us locate.
Yeah, it looks great with your touch.
You know, back in the United States, I was a chef.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite parts about this place is this fabulous kitchen.
Yes, yeah, actually.
And then the chef has his own balcony as well, so when I'm cooking, I can just hop outside.
Okay.
But speaking of balconies, you gotta admire the view.
Yeah, sure.
My beautiful wife, Emmy, of course.
Oh, yeah. Looking gorgeous.
And this has to be one of the best views in the city.
Yeah.
We feel so blessed to have found this place and or that you found it for us, but
Thanks.
it's just gorgeous.
And words.
Do you want to come see?
Yeah. Get the full effect of the Lion City.
And now we are transferring from the apartment to studio where we keep with discussing events because Rock and Emmy have been here over the year and there's lots of things to talk over, how it's been and more.
Yeah, we look forward to sharing it all with you.
Great.
Yes.
So today I'm with Emmy and Rocky, humanitarian volunteers from the US. They've been calling Ukraine home over a year now, and our viewers would like to know what was your profession before you come to Ukraine, what you did, and what motivated you to come here.
Before I moved to Ukraine, I was a chef.
Okay.
And I was working in fine dining restaurants really all over the world. And I'd done that for most of my life, all of my adult life. And Emmy and I were thinking of what else can we do? And I was tired of cooking. It's a very hard job.
And how many years you did it?
38 years
Oh,
in the kitchen.
it's more than my age. Yes.
And I've done a little bit of everything. I was in the military right out of high school, and I've lived in different places in the United States. Firefighter, medic, Department of Health, and many other things. But when we met again, we were looking for just something more meaningful in our lives in general, and what can we do?
Okay.
You know, we're still working straight, pretty strong adults, and we have between our two skills that we could do good somewhere.
Yeah, so it brings us to the next question. Like you are in the US, right? So and you come to Ukraine, not to Madagascar or I don't know to Australia to fight with kangaroo. Why Ukraine?
We had been paying attention to the Russian troops amassing on the Ukrainian border, and we were very aware that something was happening. And Emmy was with the Olympics. I remember that's when you first started really
In
paying attention to it.
2014, I knew that something big was going to happen. And then it was like the same thing again, is Russia kind of putting this like, oh, everybody look over here while we come and do something awful, and it happened.
And as Emmy was mentioning, we were looking for something a little bit more meaningful to do with our time. And then on February the 24th, when the war started at full force,
Yes.
we said, that's it, we're going to Ukraine, we're going to find a way to help.
And it took about 3 weeks for us to sell some things, to buy the plane tickets, and we had to get emergency passports for both of us. But our
Quit our jobs.
we quit our jobs, sold things, and just decided we were going to get to Poland and see how we could help. We had no idea what we were doing at first.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend people follow exactly in our footsteps, but it worked out very well for us. We were very fortunate. We met the right people at the right time. Luck was on our side. So
And we
were,
both wanted to do this together.
Mhm.
We felt it, both of us, that this is exactly where we should be and what we're gonna do, and we're gonna make it work.
Yep.
I understand. And like you first come to Poland, right? And how did you start doing volunteering? How it started?
We just showed up basically at the Medica border,
Okay.
and there was, I mean, it was tent city back then. It was tents and tents and tents of aid for all the Ukrainians crossing the border. And that's where we thought we had brought over a ton of medical supplies.
On you.
We brought feminine supplies, toys for kids. We didn't know exactly what was going to be needed. We've been following, but we carried as much as we could also to donate. And so we found places through the first, week of meeting people of where what we brought could go. And then what we noticed there is that the Ukrainians were all going back into Ukraine, and that maybe Ukraine is where we're more needed.
Yeah, at first as Emmy was saying, at first we saw all of the refugees leaving, and it was incredible to witness. There was, every day there were, there were thousands of people crossing the border on foot with everything they could carry. They would have their cat and their photo album and their children and a backpack. And that was it. We heard incredible stories of people who had traveled so far to safety. And generally speaking, it was children and women. So it was really, it was heartbreaking. Yeah, or elderly people. It was heartbreaking to see this. And then it was very weird. It got slow. Like there were fewer and fewer people coming across the border. And then we saw Ukrainians returning to the border and going back home. And so we said we need to be in Ukraine, and that's actually when we met you.
Yeah.
So we moved to Lviv.
Yeah, he came across Earth before me and checked out. He's like, "You really like this city? Like, let's come. I'd like to show it to you, and we'll see if we can move to Lviv."
Okay, so it's been over the year now. Like, what was your reflection on the over this year? Like some.
Like a year and a half now.
Yes,
Yes.
been quite a while. We fell in love with Lviv right away, and it's easy. Lviv is, it's easy to fall in love with this city because it is. I've been fortunate enough to travel all over the world, and this is one of my favorite cities. Period. Not just in Ukraine, but in the world. It's beautiful. It's got history and culture, and the people are lovely. But anyway, it would be a great place to come for a holiday. But when you live here and you start to learn more about it, it's like you really start to fall in love with it. You find once you start to know your way around the city and know the people at your local shops, it's wonderful. It's amazing. We love it more today than when we first got here.
Okay, and what do you think about should people come here? Is it a good place to invest maybe or to live? What's your opinion on this?
Well, as far as a place to live, it's amazing. But we're not just here as tourists, so you have to work and you have to be able to navigate the city, and we found that to be, it's not challenging, but you have to participate.
Yeah.
However, we know people who have come here and seen the opportunities and decide to relocate portions of their business or establish a new endeavor here in Ukraine, because the economic climate, from what we understand, is excellent right now for investment.
Yeah. So I'll also see time to time some opportunities here, like some people want to sell quickly, apartment for example.
You can invest, in different places in Ukraine and get, people could buy into condos and then rent them out.
It's a buyer's market for sure.
Yes, it is buyers,
I
but
know how people are interested.
it depends on the area, of course. Like in some areas closer to the fire, there is actually probably more opportunities but more risks,
Yes.
which is the nature of the investment perhaps.
Absolutely.
So would you continue living here? What do you think?
We definitely are. We're going to continue living in Ukraine indefinitely, and Lviv, yes. We feel safer here than we do in places back in most places back in the States.
Yeah, we don't want to downplay the fact that there's a war going on.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's a reality here that we live with every day, and so does everyone in Ukraine.
But in the States, walking down the street in Albuquerque, where, you know, the next big city next to us, I would be afraid walking down the street that I could get shot.
Oh.
I don't feel like that here. Like I'm not gonna get mugged, I'm not gonna get, you know, attacked. I know my way around the city, I feel comfortable where I'm going, even as a female alone, so.
Mm-hmm. But you are closely located to downtown, so yes.
Well, we walk all over the city, we've explored, and we love it.
And what's the current project you are doing now? Volunteering project or?
Well, we
volunteering, yeah.
have our own organization, Durham Humanitarian,
Okay.
and we're a 501c3 organization, meaning in the United States we're tax exempt, so we're a not-for-profit organization, and we solicit donations from our investors back in the United States, and we purchase. Predominantly now we've been focusing on medical supplies for severe trauma, so.
As far as cold weather gear,
I see.
ponchos, long underwear,
That
stuff for the schools.
Yeah, that stuff we source here, and one of the things that we try and do is buy as much as we can in Ukraine from Ukrainians, Ukrainian made. The stuff that we import from the States is
Things
pretty
that's
much
hard.
exclusively medical gear that's hard to find here. So we get it, we accumulate the donations in the States, and then a few times a year, they're shipped over here, and we've established great, routes that we can navigate to get these to our defenders, or into the hands of medics, or to hospitals, or orphanages.
So our
or what
efforts
have
are
you.
ongoing.
I see.
We're always raising money, and as soon as we get anything, we get it to where it needs to go.
Yeah, so I think it is a good moment to ask for, donations to these people so that they could distribute and deliver. What would be the current project you would need some donations on your
Well,
opinion?
there's really three areas that we haven't spoken about one, but we work with internally displaced people,
I
so
see.
making sure that with children as well, we raise money for little tablet computers, so when they're displaced, they can still keep up with their studies virtually online, and those are inexpensive for an American. They're $120, and we can get them back to school. We also raise money for the medical supplies, as we mentioned, for cold weather gear for our defenders, cold and wet weather gear, so
Yeah, it's
ponchos
needed
and
now.
thermals and socks and balaclava. Because, and of course, animals. We're both huge lovers of animals, so we work with local shelters and shelters that aren't local, and we also help support individuals who are out there helping cats that have been rescued, dogs that have been rescued, and they will take them in, get them their shots, have them chipped, get them sterilized, get them stabilized, and a few times we've gotten a number of animals to homes in Poland. So, working with other organizations that rehome animals.
I see. So, could you leave your donation information below the video? Send it to me, and I will put it below this video.
Thank you.